what's up? If you read up on the Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively case, you ask yourself, how did the situation escalate the way it did? And why is Blake Lively going so hard at Justin Baldoni? Because the reasons aren't justified from what we're seeing. There has to be more to this story, and it could be a situation where you have to read in between the lines, and there has been theories on TikTok.
You guys are messy. I knew we were all thinking it. But the way that Ryan Reynolds loves her, it couldn't be true, right? I've had a few people say it, which means I'm not the only one, so I'm gonna make a video about it. I think that maybe there was an affair going on, and something with it went wrong, and she seems like the jealous type. Now, of course, this is all allegedly, because one, I don't know these people. But why else would a girl act like this, right? Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. And she's going full baby mama crazy lady on his ass. She's not only ruining his movie, she's trying to ruin his entire reputation. Now, of course, trying is the key word, right? But I'm trying to think why else, right? Like, she filed a complaint but didn't necessarily say that it was sexual harassment. So what else is she trying to get out of it except for the rights to the next movie? But the crazy part is, why would she go so far if there wasn't an issue? And this may be reaching, and I'm okay with that. But some of the text exchanges between them did seem a little short and like off-putting, like she was jealous of something. But I'm glad I'm not the only one that was thinking it. And even if you weren't thinking it, you got to admit, it's not super far-fetched, right?
I'm gonna break it down so you guys can see how intense this situation became, because it's not just Justin Baldoni versus Blake Lively, it's Justin Baldoni versus Blake Lively and her husband Ryan Reynolds. The entire Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni situation has been trending for literal months, and I know for a fact there's nothing Justin regrets more than having Blake sign up to be the lead in this movie. If he would have known that Blake was gonna do a hostile takeover, controlling every single bit of the movie while also trying to tarnish his reputation in the process by painting him as a he wouldn't have believed that tale, because it sounds absolutely outrageous. But boy, was he in for a ride, because the film It Ends With Us will literally end with someone's reputation in the gutter. Speaking of reputation, Blake has a decent reputation, or had a decent reputation. There's always been talks about her days on Gossip Girl. People have always labeled her as somewhat of a mean girl. Considering the cast never outright spoke negatively about her, there's been a lot of speculation surrounding this narrative, particularly because of her rumored icy relationship with co-star Leighton Meester. There was an alleged tension on set, and the interviews from the cast didn't help either.
I think I'm just brunette because of the books.
And everyone knows blondes are nicer anyway. A moment by me.
Remember Savannah.
It was another promise was no pet monkey. Yeah. Chuck has a matching pet monkey with coordinating outfits, and I was like, I would love to be part of the show, but I can't act with a monkey. And then I got a few of them. Come on, it was a joke. Lord have mercy.
Your wardrobe. That is important. Very good.
It's very important.
This is wardrobe.
This is wardrobe. This was on the return rack. I think it was hers. So I had to go and like slip them cash to wear it today.
Now, before the It Ends With Us drama, a lot of people didn't take her interviews as disrespectful, but more so quirky and tone deaf. It was like she was trying to be funny without actually being funny, and for the most part, it was easy to brush over coming from an actress like Blake, whose start as an actress was basically handed to her. Blake Lively's family is deeply rooted in the entertainment industry. Her father was both an actor and director, while her mother worked as an actor and talent manager. Together, they had 5 children, all of whom ended up pursuing careers in the industry. Although Blake eventually became an A-list actress, acting wasn't something she was naturally drawn to as a child. She said in her 2006 interview with the Radio Free Entertainment, "I grew up on sets. My mother was a talent manager, always coaching kids for auditions, and my family was constantly rehearsing lines. I'd even sneak snacks from the craft services. Acting was such a big part of my daily life that I never felt the urge to do it myself. It honestly seemed like a nightmare." Which makes this revelation from The View even more interesting.
I was cheerleader, I was in show choir, I was class president, I was in a ton of different clubs. I was very, very involved in school. I grew up going to Disneyland like twice a week, except for there
Twice a week?
Yeah, my mom would take me out of school and take me to Disneyland.
You are one of the 100 influential people in America.
I still feel like my dad paid Time Magazine to make me feel good about myself. My parents had paid the show choir director to put me in the choir, because I can't sing or dance to save my life.
But you were lead in that choir.
Her dad, Ernie Lively, plays her father in The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, too.
It's the most special thing you could ever imagine. It's the greatest home movie you could ever have, for sure.
I grew up watching him and going to his auditions and coaching him, and I never wanted to act, so it was nice.
At least she was honest, but she definitely pointed out some privilege that she had, and that's something we're gonna unravel with the It Ends With Us drama. First, we can't talk about her privilege without mentioning the resources she had. First, with her parents, and now with her husband, Ryan Reynolds, who at this point is damn near Hollywood royalty. Through a combination of his box office successes and his beloved public persona, known for his quick wit and sharp sense of humor, he's cultivated an image as the funny good guy, both on and off the screen. Ryan's charm feels effortless, whether he's roasting himself on social media or engaging in playful banter, or cracking jokes during interviews. He's consistently presented himself as a relatable and endearing guy.
And you, decent guy?
No. Terrible human being.
How old are your girls now?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Is Ryan Reynolds missing a tooth? What do you... No, these are all my teeth. What the hell's going on here?
Ryan Reynolds is missing a lot of things.
Let's get these calf implants out too while we're at it.
They were no longer dressed up as Pirates of the Caribbean, but everybody was dressed up as Deadpool.
Ha! Suck it, Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, no, nothing. There's nothing that can... There's no space in that thing at all. When I put it on, I can actually taste my own genitals. It's disgusting. Just like...
Aviation American Gin slogan, take one. Aviation American Gin, an illusory and fleeting sense of well-being. Aviation American Gin slogan, take two. Aviation American Gin. If you're drinking anything else, you're drinking bullshit.
The Deadpool franchise is huge. Deadpool and Wolverine has been one of the few movies in 2024 that actually broke even. The movie industry has not been making any money. Like, they've been losing hundreds of millions of dollars while spending hundreds of millions of dollars. Deadpool and Wolverine has made over $1.3 billion worldwide, making it the highest grossing rated R film of all time, which in 2024 has become virtually impossible. Now, beyond acting, Ryan has also co-founded Maximum Effort, a film production company and digital marketing agency responsible for producing and promoting several of his projects, including the Deadpool films, which shows how he's had successful marketing strategies that garner widespread attention and praise. So you can only imagine how much Hollywood and huge movie corporations value someone like Ryan Reynolds. And that also includes his beloved wife, Blake Lively. When Blake signed on as the lead actress, the first thing she started doing was messing with the wardrobe for the movie. Set photos were released during shooting, and many fans took to social media to voice their concerns, suggesting that the costumes didn't align with Lily's character as depicted in Colleen Hoover's novel.
Y'all, I'm 40 minutes into this movie. Literally every outfit she's worn has pissed me off. Like, I read the book, so seeing this is upsetting. Why did they let her do this?
Please let me know if I'm the only one who thinks the stylist for It Ends With Us just really missed the mark on Lily Bloom. Like, did I read a different book? Because she would not wear this dress. And I don't really know what's going on with, like, the camo leopard situation. These middle two are actually what I pictured her wearing, so I really like those, but, like, the other four, I have no clue what's going on.
Some felt like the wardrobe choices were very unflattering and inconsistent with Lily's personality and background. And Blake's descriptions of Lily's style wasn't really fitting to the theme of the movie.
There seems to be a theme among many movies that have a quirky or different character, and in order to convey that, they feel the need to style them in such an extreme, over-the-top way. Sometimes it actually works, but many times it just comes off as extremely unrealistic. It ends with this as a perfect example of this. Fashion is a tool of self-expression. It is used to express what's on the inside, on the outside. So in a way, our clothes are almost like a second skin. They make sense, they feel right, they look right. And when looking at these outfits, they don't look like a second skin. But something that also just doesn't work is the fact that they seem so unrealistic, and it makes them and the character unbelievable. You're not going to see people walking around in outfits like this all the time. It also could just be a casting issue. These outfits might look fantastic on someone else, but on Blake Lively, it doesn't look like Lily Bloom. It looks like Blake Lively dressed in unflattering clothes that don't match her personality. However, many fans of the book are saying that these outfits just don't match Lily's character in the book,
which Blake has taken credit for.
I mean, I love Lily's style. I think when you see the film, her style makes sense because she's a woman of multitudes. It's storytelling. To me, fashion and costume design is storytelling.
Can I tell you my favorite?
Yes, please.
Like, take my breath away favorite? Those boots.
Those are my boots.
Those boots are so good.
Those are my real life boots. A lot of it's my real life clothes or my husband's clothes or my girlfriend Gigi's clothes. I was borrowing some.
Wait, that's kind of amazing. So you have something of Gigi's in the movie.
Yeah, it's like a wedding, like something old, something borrowed, something blue, something new.
Wait, which
except
one?
it's just,
Now I want to think of the scene.
Oh, I'm wearing her stuff all over. She's always seeing the best in people, and that's something that can get her hurt as well. But she's also somebody who sees the biggest possibility, the biggest opportunity, something that's vibrant and new and alive and fresh, and you know, so seeing that in her fashion, seeing the new and the high, and seeing the utility and the more masculine and then the more feminine, and I think that, like, you know, there's a practicality to her, but then there's also a celebration of life and flourishes and romance and love, where she wants to believe in you know, all things beautiful. That makes a lot of sense to me, and her feelings are clashing, yet they make sense when you look at her. You're like, oh, I understand that. And I also think that clothing is to me, I'm a hoarder, so it's deeply sentimental.
So this is 100% her doing, going against the film's original concept for her wardrobe. But it was really the press run that caused all this open drama, because there were definitely a lot of issues behind the scenes, but none of the cast were vocal about it. It was really when Blake and Justin started doing press that the audience noticed that there was some issues. A very noticeable issue was Blake and her reluctancy to actually talk about the movie. The press run seemed very tone deaf on Blake's part. She was even promoting her own product lines during the press run. She talked about the movie like it was a girly rom-com or a love story that helps empower women.
A lot of survivors of generational trauma and domestic abuse are going to see this film. I'm curious, what is the message that you hope that they take away from it?
I think that you are so much, and not to minimize it anyway, but you are so much more than just a survivor or just a victim. While that is a huge thing, you are a person of multitudes, and what someone has done to you doesn't define you. You define you, and what you have in you and what you're capable of and what you have done and are doing and will do is so much bigger than anything anyone else can do to you. And I think that that is that feels like it is so empowering and rooting and grounding, and I hope that people see that, because this is a story that covers domestic violence, but it's not about domestic violence, it's about this woman. So
you don't often see messy women in film. I feel like this is a film that's important to be made because just as an actor, I'm not often given the opportunity to tell the story of a woman that really experiences the entire spectrum of female or any human experience, you know? Like when you experience pain or trauma or darkness or sadness, that's your character. Or if you're light and levity and love and joy and hope, then that's your character. You don't often see a woman that gets to be so multifaceted because you don't often see messy women in film. And so to be able to be a woman who's contradicting herself, but yet it makes complete sense, and seeing the messiness of the human experience, I think is a beautiful thing to see, because it makes people feel seen and not alone. And I know that's how I felt when I read Lily.
This movie is about DV, and Blake's answers everything except the true concept of the movie, which fans thought was very weird. Whereas Justin openly talked about how the movie touched on DV and was more empathetic to the sensitivity of the movie.
I think that they are absolutely entitled to that opinion, and it makes perfect sense as to why they would feel that way. I mean, look, we live in a culture where, unfortunately, too many things are glorified. And, we are fighting for attention. We're in an attention economy, and we're in a clickbait world, and everybody is trying to, figure out how to gather attention. Look at the news cycle; it's everywhere around us, and so it makes perfect sense that people would feel that way. Also, if anybody has had that real life experience, I can imagine how hard it would be to imagine their experience being in a romance novel. To them, I would just offer that that we were very intentional in the making of this movie.
But notice how none of the press actually included Justin with his castmates. It's either Blake or her co-stars, but not Blake with her leading co-star. Which is pretty weird. Blake has the upper hand because she's the bigger star, but Justin has been working on this movie since 2019. He gained the rights to the movie and was directing and producing, but he wasn't included in the cast press tours. There were claims that the studio prohibited her from speaking about the DV storyline, which honestly doesn't even make sense since the whole concept of the movie is about DV. If that's true, then that's very stupid. So comparing the way Justin promoted versus Blake, it's clear why fans thought there was issues within the movie. So naturally, since Blake already had a mean girl narrative around her, the internet does what it always does. They look for content, and unfortunately for Blake, there's enough content surrounding her that doesn't put her in the best light. There is literally hours of video compilations of Blake being a bully. These videos have millions upon millions of views, which is directly tied to Blake's behavior. One of the videos absolutely put a pin directly on how mean people think she really is. There is this interview that a journalist posted of Blake from 2016. Now the interview never saw the light of day until a few months ago, because the journalist felt like Blake's behavior is still tied to the way Blake treated her years ago, so she decided to do an exposing of her own.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
What about my bump? I'm a fan.
I love most of his movies, and this one was so visually amazing.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Did you guys love wearing those kind of clothes that you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And working in digital.
Everyone wants to talk about the clothes, but I wonder if they would ask the men about the clothes.
I would.
I love Jesse's suits and how
that's what I'm saying. His wardrobe was beautiful.
I know,
Corey's wardrobe was gorgeous. Those high-waisted pants.
He's so great.
I wish men wore high-waisted pants like that still. Or the father with his tank top in bed.
It's so good.
It's just like
Did you
that.
catch
You could feel
the
it.
tablecloth on the light in the Italian restaurant when they eat spaghetti?
I didn't notice that. No, that's always nice, to see that your idea of someone isn't always who they actually are.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Take care.
I got so many questions from people asking why I decided to post that interview now, 8 years later. And the reason for that is that I got contacted by another reporter who told me a story that was a little similar to this one that he had experienced. And then we started talking about comparing notes about this. And then I just felt like, you know what? It's not okay to behave like that, and I think it needs to be called out. I also have to say thank you to everyone who contacted me and sent me beautiful messages. I think now I understand why it has gone viral like it has. I think it's not only because of Blake Lively, but I think it's because a lot of people could kind of resonate with this situation. Especially, I've been contacted by a lot of women, and I feel like a lot of people have experienced something, not exactly like this, but a bit similar to it. Like experience that mean girl energy from someone, or you felt left out or bullied. Most of the time this happens when we're younger, but as you can see from this video, it does happen when you're grown-ups too.
And mind you, this has absolutely nothing to do with Justin. Justin is not involved in a fan-dominated smear campaign. And it didn't help that it seemed like Justin was being alienated from the entire movie. Justin wasn't anywhere near the cast, avoiding joint appearances, and Blake and the other cast members didn't follow Justin on social media. So Justin did damage control and decided to hire a crisis PR team. But the backlash on Blake's part got so bad that Blake filed a legal complaint accusing Justin of harassment and alleging retaliatory smear campaign aimed at tarnishing her reputation. She claimed that after voicing her concerns about the on-set behavior, that Justin and his team engaged in efforts to undermine her through manipulated media narratives. The narratives that were already out there about her that was fueled by her behavior promoting the movie. But somehow that's Justin's fault. In Blake's legal complaint, it includes several serious allegations against Justin, one being sexual harassment. Blake claims that Justin engaged in inappropriate on-set behavior, including unwanted physical advances and making lewd comments. She alleges that he entered her makeup trailer uninvited while she was undressed and breastfeeding. 2. Unwanted physical contact. Apparently, instances where Justin allegedly improvised scenes involving unexpected kissing and pressured Blake to simulate full nudity during a birth scene. 3. Retaliation and smear campaign. After Blake raised concerns about his behavior, she asserts that Justin, along with producer Jamie Heath, hired a crisis management team to orchestrate a smear campaign aimed at damaging her reputation. 4. Creation of a hostile work environment. Blake alleges that Justin's actions, including discussing explicit sexual content and making inappropriate inquiries about her personal life, contributed to an unprofessional and hostile atmosphere on set. These allegations have led to significant professional repercussions for Justin, including being dropped by his talent agency, WME. But what made everything 10 times worse for Justin was the New York Times article. The New York Times article about Justin was co-written by Megan Twohey, Mike McIntyre, and Julie Tate, which focused on Blake's allegations during the production of It Ends With Us. The piece leaned heavily in Blake's favor, highlighting her claims of Justin's inappropriate behavior, creation of hostile work environment, and retaliation through an alleged smear campaign. After she voiced her concerns, the article framed Justin's actions as unprofessional and damaging, giving Blake's accusations significant credibility. What makes this article especially impactful is the involvement of Megan Twohey, as one of the journalists behind the groundbreaking Weinstein exposing in 2017. Megan's name carries serious weight in investigative journalism. Her work played a pivotal role in the Me Too movement, exposing Hollywood's darker underbelly. Having her attached to this piece about Justin automatically raised its importance and the stakes for him, as her reputation for uncovering systematic abuse in the industry makes any allegation she reports as highly credible. The connection to Megan's past work also casts a shadow over Justin. Even if the allegations aren't of the same magnitude as the Weinstein case, the article invites comparisons between the power dynamics and inappropriate behavior Blake described. This association not only amplified the public scrutiny of Justin, but also fueled deeper conversations about professional conduct and accountability in Hollywood. With Megan's reputation and the weight of the New York Times behind it, the article has serious implications for Justin. It sparked a significant fallout, including Justin filing a $250 million lawsuit against the New York Times, who have not lost a case in 60 years. The piece has become a central point in the ongoing legal battle between Blake and Justin, shaping public perception and potentially influencing how future allegations in the industry are handled. In his $250 million lawsuit, yes, $250 million, I keep saying it because I'm just baffled, Justin contends that the newspaper failed to provide him with adequate time to respond to the allegations made by Blake before publishing their article. He asserts that the Times rushed the publication without thoroughly fact-checking Blake's claims, leading for the Times to release misleading information. Justin's legal team argues that the article relied heavily on cherry-picked and altered communications, stripped of necessary context while misrepresenting the situation and damaging his reputation. If you read the 87-page document, you will see that what Blake did was distort situations that happened to make Justin look bad. Now we're gonna break down Justin's lawsuit against the Times that really shows how everything from the start when Blake signed on to be in this movie worked against his favor. Blake blames Justin for her negative press, claiming him and his crisis team were planting stories about her. The New York Times article headline falsely accuses Justin of launching a retaliatory PR campaign against Blake for speaking out about SA. This claim is entirely untrue and easily debunked. If the Times had genuinely reviewed the thousands of private messages they claim to have, it shows that Justin never intended to destroy or bury Blake with aggressive tactics. Instead, Justin repeatedly expressed his desire to avoid harming her while protecting the film's reputation, acknowledging the need for PR defense due to Blake's false and damaging claims against him. Justin's lawsuit against the Times included text messages proving his team anticipated being unfairly blamed for her negative press, despite having no involvement in it. Further messages released in Justin's lawsuit shows that Blake intentionally altered text messages that tried to further prove her point. But Justin has the real messages proving that they weren't conspiring against Blake. The New York Times article pushed a narrative promoting Blake's SA claims against Justin and Matt. Matt is Matt Heath, who was the director of the film, and Blake accused him and Justin of SA. The article alleges that Matt showed her a video of his naked wife, even labeling it as pornography. This claim has been labeled as absurd. The video was a non-pornographic recording of Matt's wife and baby during a home birth. A personal moment with no sexual intent. Misrepresenting this event as sexual misconduct is definitely outrageous, but it does highlight the extremes Blake went with her collaborators in order to defame Justin and Matt. I do think it was weird to show a video of his wife giving birth to Blake, but it was done with the intention to help Blake perform better with the scene in the movie. But Blake is also a mother, so I'm sure she didn't need help, but the video wasn't meant to make Blake feel uncomfortable. The article adds to the sexual harassment claims by accusing both men of repeatedly entering Blake's makeup trailer uninvited while she was undressed, including during a personal moment when she was breastfeeding. But the article fails to mention that Blake herself invited Justin into her trailer while she was pumping so they could rehearse lines. The claim that Justin inappropriately described Blake's character's attire as sexy is misleading and exaggerated. Text messages between the two reveal that Blake had specifically requested her character's clothing to be much sexier. Justin's use of the word sexy was simply in response to her creative input, not a personal remark. Blake set the tone for this, and Justin followed her direction during the creative process, including using the same wording. For this 87-page document, I could go on and on, but it gets more repulsive the way Blake has spun the narrative in her favor, which is extremely damaging to Justin and also damaging to SA victims. Not only that, but Blake took full, complete control of the movie and its production. She was changing scenes, rewriting the script with her husband Ryan, and completely excluding Justin from his position as the producer, not allowing him to have creative control over the movie that he has the rights to. Because of who Blake is and who her husband is, Sony continued to grant her access and control to change anything she wanted, choosing her side over Justin every step of the way. In January of 2024, a meeting took place at Blake and Ryan's New York City residence. Justin, the producers, and a Sony representative were in attendance. The purpose was to address concerns Blake had about the work environment during filming. During this meeting, Ryan confronted Justin, accusing him of fat-shaming Blake and ripped him a new one. Justin described the encounter as traumatic, stating he had never been spoken to like that a day in his life. A producer present noted that in his 40-year career, he had never witnessed such a behavior in a meeting. Additionally, the Sony representative expressed regret for not intervening to stop Ryan from going at Justin so hard. The Sony exec said that it's their biggest regret in life for not defending Justin. For the final cut of the movie, there was 2 edited versions. Sony made an agreement with Blake and Justin that whichever edit the test audience liked more will be the final cut of the movie. The audience liked Justin's. They liked his final cut more, but of course, Blake's cut was chosen to be the released version. Can you imagine gaining the rights to a movie, spending years building it up, writing the script, gaining funding, and building a team, just to have a simple actress like Blake completely kick you out of your own project? Then on top of that, to be told you can't even come to the red carpet with the cast members and do press runs? Well, that's the nightmare Justin was dealing with. On top of that, Justin has continued to save face by publicly being nice to Blake. He hasn't said anything negative about Blake. Matter of fact, he's praised Blake despite everything she's been doing behind the scenes. And what he's saying is true, because Blake herself has openly said that she has gotten creative control of the movie.
You know, I was lucky to be able to be involved in so many different aspects of this movie, not just on screen. On screen is the smallest amount of work that I did in this film, to be honest. I took the relationships with my mother or my sisters or my children and my feelings, and I mean it's all over this film, and in ways that nobody will ever know, and I'll never tell anybody. But when I sit in that theater with my loved ones, they see themselves all over this film. Moments we've had together, things we've said to each other, and I think that's why I feel so proud, and it's so personal to me. You know, I was fortunate to have a lot of authorship in the storytelling.
Blake knocked it out of the park. Is there something about Blake that we don't know, and what was it like working with her?
I don't know if you know how smart and creative she really is. I think she's best known as an actress, and of course she's, you know, a fashion, you know, icon, but she is so much more than that. She is a dynamic creative. She had her hands in every part of this production, and everything she touched, she made better.
Well, that concludes today's video. Let me know what you think about the "it ends with us" situation and who's in the wrong, Blake or Justin. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Toodles.